There is something strange about modern life. We can message anyone in seconds. We can video call across continents. We can scroll through hundreds of faces before we even get out of bed. And yet, millions of people will go to sleep tonight without having a single meaningful conversation. We live in the most technologically connected era in human history, but many people quietly admit they feel more alone than ever before. Somewhere between notifications and group chats, between online presence and real-life absence, something shifted. We didn't lose the ability to connect, we lost the depth of it. Social media promised connection. It promised community. It promised that we would never feel isolated again. And in some ways it delivered. We can see what everyone is doing. We can react instantly. We can send emojis, comments, likes, and quick replies. But reacting is not the same as relating. A like is not the same as being known. We have replaced conversation with commentary. We have replaced presence with performance. We show the polished version of ourselves, filtered, edited, curated. And slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to hide the parts of ourselves that actually need connection. We have hundreds of followers, yet struggle to think of one person we could call if everything fell apart tonight. Loneliness rarely looks dramatic. It doesn't always look like someone sitting alone in a dark room. Sometimes it looks like typing, "Hey, how are you?" and deleting it because you don't want to bother anyone. It looks like scrolling through contacts and realizing you don't know who to call. It feels like being in a room full of people and somehow still feeling invisible. You can laugh in a group, contribute to conversations, even post smiling photos, and still feel completely disconnected inside. That's the quiet nature of loneliness. It hides behind busy schedules and digital noise. It thrives in silence. It convinces people that what they're feeling is weakness, when in reality it's a deeply human need going unmet. Modern life has made independence easy and intimacy difficult. We work remotely. We order food without speaking. We date through apps where swiping replaces conversation. We fill our free time with streaming, scrolling, and constant stimulation. We are overstimulated, but underconnected. We've become efficient at living, but not necessarily close. Add to that a culture where vulnerability feels risky. People are afraid of saying the wrong thing, of being misunderstood, of showing weakness, so we keep things surface level. We stay polite. We stay careful. We stay distant. Over time, distance becomes the default setting. And when everyone is protecting themselves at the same time, no one feels truly known. Imagine a woman walking home alone on a quiet winter night. Snow falls gently under the streetlights, and every house she passes glows warmly from the inside. Through the windows, she sees silhouettes. Families sitting at dinner tables, people moving through kitchens, soft yellow light filling living rooms. From the outside, everything looks warm, connected, full of life. But how many of those windows hold someone scrolling alone in another room? How many people inside those glowing houses feel just as isolated as she does? Loneliness doesn't always look empty. Sometimes it looks warm from the outside and silent on the inside. Sometimes it lives in the spaces between people who share the same roof, but not the same conversation. When loneliness lingers, it changes people. It makes them quieter, more guarded, more hesitant to reach out. It plants thoughts like, "I don't belong," or "I shouldn't bother anyone," or "No one really wants to hear from me." Over time, silence becomes familiar. Isolation becomes routine. The longer someone feels disconnected, the harder it becomes to step back into vulnerability. And yet the human brain is wired for connection. We are not built to exist alone. Every study on well-being points back to the same truth. Deep relationships matter more than achievements, followers, or productivity. But deep relationships require risk. They require honesty. And honesty feels uncomfortable in a world that rewards perfection. But here's the hopeful part. Loneliness is not permanent. It is not an identity. It is not a life sentence. Sometimes it begins to loosen its grip with something very small. One honest conversation. One vulnerable admission. One moment of choosing depth over distraction. It might feel awkward at first. It might feel unfamiliar. But connection is built through presence, not perfection. It's built in long pauses, in shared silence, in eye contact that lasts a little longer than usual. The solution to the loneliness epidemic may not be more connection. It may be deeper connection. Fewer conversations, but more honest ones. Fewer performances, more presence. We have never had more ways to communicate, but maybe what we're truly craving is not more communication, it's more understanding. Not more noise, but more being known. And maybe tonight, instead of another scroll, the most powerful thing you could do is reach out. Not because you have something impressive to say, but because being human was never meant to be done alone.